Welcome to this episode of Cooking with Kirby. Today we're going to be doing orange chicken. Not just any orange chicken. I'm going to be giving you the original recipe from Panda Express. So I have a buddy that works for Panda Express and I told him I needed that recipe. So no further ado, let's get down to the recipe so I can show you how to make it. So we're going to start off with dry ingredients. We're going to have 3 cups of flour and 1 cup of cornstarch. And you want to go ahead and put that in a mixing bowl. So we're going to be adding 1 teaspoon of salt and pepper. If you have white peppercorn, that is what this recipe is, calling for. I only had black pepper, so I had to substitute it for that. Go ahead and add 1 egg. This right here is 1.5 cup of water. I think there was a typo in the recipe when it was sent to me. It also called for 2 tablespoons of oil. But the 1.5 cup of water I feel was not enough moisture for the batter. It ended up creating a dough. So what I did to remedy this is I added another cup of water. So use 2.5 cups of water. I make wet batter all the time for fish, tempura, all that stuff. The extra cup actually made it perfect. As you can see, it's a nice smooth batter and it just remedied the recipe. So 2.5 cups of water is what you want to use. So you want to take some boneless chicken thighs and you want to cut them into about 1-inch strips. Now I did not season these are unseasoned. So go ahead and wash your chicken and cut them into 1-inch strips. Then you want to put them in your batter and make sure that you give it an even coat of that batter. Then you want to go ahead and cover with some saran wrap and we're going to let this chill for 30 minutes. Now I ended up making a double batch, so I actually prepped enough for 2 batches. It actually called for a 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of garlic, and then about a 1/4 teaspoon of chili flake, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and a 1/4 cup of white sugar. So you want to go ahead and mince your garlic and your ginger. You want to just go ahead and give everything a chop, and then you want to just finely cut it up into small little pieces. As you can see here, I'm just running the knife through it and just giving it a nice little chop. Same thing with the ginger. You just want to go ahead and cut it into strips, and then you'll just give it a nice chop. And then once you get into the nice little bits pieces, you want to just go ahead and try to mince it. Now the recipe did call for a 1/4 teaspoon of chili flakes. These are Japanese chilies, and I went ahead and just gave them a chop. If you want to just use regular chili flakes, that's fine. But if you don't want too much heat, just go by the recipe. Or if you want it a little bit spicier like I do, add a little bit more. And then for garnish, we're going to be chopping up some green onion. Now you want to go ahead and fill up a frying pan with some oil. Any oil is fine. You want to make sure that it gets up to at least a temperature of 350 degrees. You want that oil hot because as soon as you put that chicken in there with the wet batter, it's going to start cooking it right away. So you want to at least try to cook it for about 6 to 8 minutes, but make sure that you give it an occasional stir in between the frying, because that'll allow the pieces of chicken to break apart, and that way it has its individual portions of chicken. After about 6 to 8 minutes, go ahead and just make sure you temperature your chicken. You want to make sure that it's at least 175 degrees. And if it's 175 degrees and nice and golden brown, go ahead and remove it. Put it on a rack so that way it can drip all the oil out. So now we're going to start with our sauce. Go ahead and put about 2 tablespoons of oil and we're going to toast those chili flakes. You just want to give them a nice little toast, with a little bit of dark, give it a dark red color. And then you want to go ahead and add your garlic and ginger. Now you just want to go ahead and sweat those out. You want to extract the oils from the ginger, the garlic, and the chili flakes, and you just kind of want to marry them together. Now you want to go ahead and add 1/4 cup of orange juice, a 1/4 cup of white vinegar, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now you just want to go ahead and mix that in. Make sure that you want to cook off the vinegar. You don't want that strong vinegar smell. It really is pungent at this moment, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, you just want to cook it for a couple minutes to cook it off. Now you just want to give it a couple squirts of sesame seed oil. It did ask for a tablespoon of sesame seed oil. And now you want to just go ahead and add your brown sugar and your white sugar into the mix. And you want to just go ahead and cook that down to where the white sugar and the brown sugar dissolve. Give it a stir. Just make sure that you keep stirring. It'll incorporate evenly, you know, just low heat is what we're cooking it at. And now what you want to do is you want to take a little bit of water. It's about 2 tablespoons of water to 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix that together, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add that to your sauce. That's what's going to thicken this up and give it a nice glaze of a sauce. At this point, you want to have the heat turned off and just keep stirring. It's going to thicken up on you and it's going to be a nice glazy sauce. This is what you want your sauce to look like. It's going to give a nice glaze on those chicken thighs. You know, they're going to be nice and crunchy and they're going to have a lot of flavor. My wife's co-workers love this recipe. And you know what? I can't take the credit for it because it's the original recipe from Panda Express. So you can make this at home. As you can see, there is nothing hard about making this. It is a little time consuming, but once you make it, you're gonna love it. Now just once you're finished here, go ahead and garnish it with a little bit of green onion and sesame seed. That's gonna add a beautiful presentation and you're gonna blow your family away. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. That way you can see future videos just like this and many more. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave it down in the comments section and I'll get back to you shortly. Now I have these 3 other recipes. They're very delicious. Go ahead and take a look at them. Now y'all be beautiful and take care.